Hello and welcome to Conch Productions Artist Chat, August 2025. My name is Misael COLIMON-CHRISTOPHER. I'm the founding artistic director of Conch Productions, and today we are going to be chatting with one of the amazing filmmakers whose film will be screening September 18th at Queens Public Library in Forest Hills. And our filmmaker today is Misael Martínez Melo. Misael Martínez Melo is of Puerto Rican heritage, and his film Raíces is going to be screened. Raíces was one of our 2024 CSIFF Conch International Film Festival Award nominees. And I can't wait to introduce you to Misael. And I'm sure once you meet him, you're going to be like, I've got to go see Raíces. I've got to go see it. Okay. So, hi, Misael. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation and thank you for the invitation for to have my film again uh with you at the Forest Hill Library. I'm super happy and excited about this. So that's gonna
Wonderful.
bring like friends in New York, New Jersey, like that area to that they were not able to watch the film during the festival. They have another chance to watch it there.
I like that. You're going to tell your friends to come out. Thank you. Thank you. We need that. We need to have that
Yeah.
support system. So you have friends who support you as a filmmaker. Let me find out. So how did you start this filmmaker journey? Where did the seed come from? Was it from a person, an event, a film?
So I've been a commercial filmmaker for, I'm starting to lose track of time, but around 30 years roughly.
Oh my
I started
gosh.
when I was in college. So I was working like at TV stations and then working on my own. But I was focused more on the commercial side, doing a lot of advertising, corporate videos. Uh, but around a little bit more than 10 years ago, started itching, like having this urgency to start like wanting to tell my own stories. When I say my own stories, like stories that are not the ones that I usually do for pay the bills. I wanted to tell
Mm.
stories about like my heritage, about my culture, about what's happening in my communities. So that's how I did my first documentary that is called Raíces de Barrios, a little bit similar the name to this one, uh, but it was focused on like community gardens and projects in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Mm.
And during that one, kind of everything snowballed into what you watch a bigger Raíces, that is the one that you saw at the festival last year.
So it sounds like the community wanted to have their story told on a bigger scale than you had prepared for. Is that what happened when you got out there and you were shooting your documentary in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, what's happening is a lot of my documentary work is related to food sovereignty. So, and these are communities that they don't have a lot of access to bigger, audiences. So they're mostly grassroots organizations and efforts that it's basically like self-managed and self-started. So they when I started like filming them, I was thinking of just doing a YouTube series, like 15, a, a little bit more than 10 years ago, was 2013. And then I realized there's a bigger story here. And they also started like claiming like, there's so much that you're just covering the tip of the iceberg. So there's so much that you can do and you can cover. So that's why I decided to, you know, keep keep working on this and to kind of give this communities and organizations like a bigger audience for their efforts.
So you mentioned before that your passion is shining the light on food sovereignty. And the title Raíz means roots. So are you finding that the food sovereignty issue is predominantly a Puerto Rican issue, or is it an issue that's impacting all of the Caribbean? And
I,
explain a bit what food sovereignty means for those who are unfamiliar with the terminology.
okay, perfect. There's two terms that are connected but not discerned: food sovereignty and food security. So
Mhm.
food security is the ability of find affordable but like high quality food at your like deli, supermarket, marqueta, colmado de la esquina. uh, uh, so that like safety, making sure that you have access to food. Food sovereignty takes this at another level. It's the capability of your community or your country not only to feed your people, is to have control on how much do you import, being as much as self sufficient as possible, and also have a say on the best ways of using like your agricultural resources in behalf of your population. Puerto Rico, we don't have as much control as the Dominican Republic can have over like this means that the agriculture has been eroding because of U.S. imports. Also, there's this thing called like Jones Act that also restrict shipping.
Shipping from Puerto Rico to
From
the
and
rest
to
of
Puerto
the
Rico,
world.
yeah. So basically, so this in a nutshell, restrict the way distribution channels are gonna be handled. So and also like adds a lot of a bigger cost to food in Puerto Rico, and also the relationship that it's a little bit it's hard. It is hard. If you keep moving to the east, like U.S. Virgin Islands, some of the smaller Caribbean islands, most of them are net importers. So Puerto
Mm,
Rico, we got down to like importing 90% of what we eat. It suppose apparently got better to 85% now. Depends on the
mhm,
on the source. But the
mhm.
all these smaller islands and most of these smaller countries, like they are net importers. They don't have much uh, being produced locally. Uh, I know there are
And is
some.
that because they don't have the soil, or is that because of the agreements that they made with the international community?
Yeah, in some cases it's because they don't have the soil or they don't have the best weather. In some cases, like also, for example, the U.S. Virgin Islands is being very focused on tourism. So
Mhm,
it is not until now that we're starting to see like more efforts on trying to get some food being raised there. It is the same with Vieques and Culebra that are technically part of Puerto Rico, but are also considered what is called the Spanish Virgin Islands. So
mhm.
Culebra, my project, we cover my film, we cover a project there, but it is hard between the weather and the different political situations to have full a lot of control over food sovereignty. But if you keep moving down, I don't have details of all of the islands and nations in our uh, in our area. But I know, for example, once you go down like to South America, Guyana, it's it's almost self-sufficient regarding food. So it is a very weird mix, but I think Guyana and Dominican Republic are kind of leading the way in the Caribbean regarding food sovereignty.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And it's really interesting, food sovereignty, food scarcity, and the concept. I mean, there's always conversations about food scarcity in the areas that are predominantly filled with people of color in New York, right? Food
Hmm.
scarcity, not finding healthy food, being stuck with certain kinds of food, which then impact your health. And so I really loved how in your documentary you were sharing that the people who were pushing for this agricultural move, we're pushing for healthy food, right? For food that heals the body, food that comes from the culture. So there's a huge cultural conversation in your piece, the Puerto Rican culture, and so would you say what aspect of your culture impacts all the stories you want to tell? Do you feel that you predominantly focus on Puerto Rican and Dominican culture in your storytelling, or or is there another influence on your viewpoint? Do you primarily do documentaries, or do you also do narrative
Yeah.
content?
I'm mostly right now. So right now. This is like a subject that is so big and complex. I'm focusing
Mm,
more on the things I didn't know that are like Puerto Rican, the Puerto Rican situation, because although now I'm living in Washington State, I have strong connections to the island, and I lived there for like 35 years. So
mm,
I know what's happening there, and that's my focus now. Eventually, want to kind of expand, but the thing is, in the case of Puerto Rico, when you talk about food, you're also talking about politics. Food is a political. When people say, "Oh, we should be talking just about agriculture," because I have heard this at uh, Q and A's and panels, we should be focused on just the agricultural side of the issues. Like agriculture is politics, and 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 that's why I kind of laser focus on that issue, because it's not just agriculture; it's all the you know little small different subjects that cannot spin off from that core situation. Eventually, I would love to know a little bit more what's happening in our like greater Caribbean different nations and territories. But I think it's my job as a documentary filmmaker is to create a new voice regarding this situation in Puerto Rico. So yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna do a spoiler, but I love when everyone sees this film, you're gonna see how people are like breaking the boundaries on what qualifies for arable land, and maybe that will inspire everyone to consider various versions of arable land for farming. So getting back to you,
Mhm.
because it's about you. We're here talking about you. In your experience, the theme for this collection of 5 films is love, the impact of love on the Caribbean community. If you were to share with anyone what you feel the love message is of your film, what would that be?
And I think we this is a story of self-love, of self-esteem, of, for example, in my movie, these grassroots organizations creating amazing stuff from nothing, not even most of them, not even government support. So we need to dive a little bit deeper into our souls as persons, and as a society, to find solutions. Not also sometimes the solutions are right there. We simply we don't see them because we are so focused on finding stuff like okay, I need this thing, let me go to Amazon, instead of okay, instead of taking a look into your, let me see what I have in the kitchen that I can use before ordering this thing. This is our attitude to solve our issues.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. So thank you. I love that. We can find the truth within ourselves, love ourselves, and find the solution within ourselves. That's a very important message. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope it inspires everyone of the Caribbean heritage community. So, what would you say, other than that important message of the film, as you're moving forward, you bump into young Caribbean Latinx filmmakers who are like, documentary filmmaking. Wow, it's important, but what keeps you inspired? I mean, all those hours of film to go through to find the nugget that is your film. What is your source? What would you say to them to inspire them to tell the story from the documentary viewpoint?
I will say in my case, it's a little bit different for everyone, but in my case, it is in a way like a therapy.
Mm.
And it reminds me to like this big superstar that went to he went to a very poor country, and he wanted to help all the kids, and he was having like a lot of issues because he wanted to help everybody. So somebody there told him, you cannot help everybody, but if you help one or two or five people, uh it's gonna make a big impact instead of trying to divide your time in thousands of small chunks. I will say in my case, I'm probably like a lot of people that I know that are into the documentary work. We see a lot of issues, and we want to channel those out. I cannot fix, I cannot bring light to all of the issues, but if I can take one and get the message through, that's worth it. Uh, it is better to do that than just do nothing or a lot of small stuff that cannot get scattered and doesn't create doesn't create like a long-term effect. So find one issue that you get passionate about, that you feel is going to make a difference in the work. And even on days where you are feel slow, when you're doing documentaries, there are going to be days or weeks that you won't be doing much. So just keep moving. As long as you keep moving, no matter if you're moving slow or fast, uh, everything's gonna be fine, and you're gonna be able to, to get the word out.
Beautiful. So what's next?
Right now, we are in the preliminary stages of a new documentary. We are kind of probing what I call probing different. We have like two or three different subjects that we want to cover. Uh, this time we want to move a little bit more towards other other like economical issues in Puerto Rico, but like we have like two or three proposals out there. Of course, we would love to get some, angel funding for those. So, and depending on who says what and how much we get, we're gonna probably figure out which one. There are two that they look good. So, but both are related to, both are related to uh, economy or agriculture of Puerto Rico.
Beautiful. So if someone wanted to reach out and give assistance to you, how would they find you?
Okay. I'm very active on social media, especially Instagram. So Dominico Boricua, also like mediaroom.media. That's like my company. And also my movie has a Instagram page that is called Documentary Raíces PR. Uh, but yeah, my main usually main tool is gonna be like Dominico Boricua on Instagram or mediaroom.media on like webpage.
And if you want to find out why it's so important for you to support this amazing filmmaker, come to see our screening September 18th at Queens Public Library in Forest Hills. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Misael. Thank you so much. I'm really inspired by your passion. And quite frankly, your team did such an amazing job with this project. It's beautiful and it's in Spanish with English subtitles. And that for those people who are looking for content in Spanish, you have to come out, support, find out how you can make a difference.
Yeah,
Thank you,
exactly.
Misael.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.